I was Wyatt Earp. I don't mean that because I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and that I think I was actually the actual Wyatt Earp. That's not what I mean. Gotcha, if you thought that. No, what I mean is there was a time 30 years ago, 1994, well, from end of 93 to early 95. Um, I had been a bounty hunter and I was still doing it on the side, but my main job for that period of time was securing the new Wilmington Arms housing projects in Compton, California. NWA, as they call it, or just the Arms. Uh, it was Crips in there. There's about 60 of them. You have the Arms, you have a little park, and then another project, and that was called Park Village. And both of them were combined and they were called the Park Village Crips, PVC. And heavily armed. I mean, AKs, Mag 10s, the whole shebang. And we didn't mess. All our edict was, try and keep the peace. If something happens, someone gets shot, stabbed, house gets broken into, someone gets attacked, you respond. But if they're just hanging out like they do every night, drinking, smoking weed, listening to some music, and they're not doing anything other than that to bother people, you just leave them be. As it gets late at night, especially during the week, if they're near people's homes, apartments, by the windows or whatever, and they're talking loud and playing music, then you got to stop that because people are sleeping, they're trying to get rest. So we wouldn't mess with them, but it didn't matter. You got a badge, we're gonna mess with you. That was their mentality. Um, so they would mess with us all the time. They would shoot at us. I probably got shot at, I don't know, a couple dozen times. At least in my general vicinity. And there was several times where they was, or at least a couple times, that was directed directly at me. They were trying to get me. Um, Majority of the time, it was kind of like just to mess with us. They weren't serious, like I'm going to kill them. Um, but I did have one of my guys get shot. I say one of my guys because I was a sergeant in charge of the night crew. That's where all the action happened. So one of my guys got shot in the foot one time, which it was minor, but you know. So majority of the time, and they would shoot when the way they would shoot would be as they start to shoot, they're already starting to run. So they're not going to hit anything unless it's just random most of the time. But then after when I was there for a while, then one dude showed up and he looked like just like Mike Tyson in his prime. I mean that he was that body and everything, and he was out of his mind insane, and all the other guys were afraid of him. Um, they were all scared to death of him because he was just whacked up. He had 666 tattooed above his eyebrow. He was nuts. And so he just got out of prison. And so we first see him, and he's over there where they're hanging out. Got his shirt off, and he's ripped to shreds, and he's just talking trash, or I don't know what he's doing. And you can see everybody just kind of backing off. They're kind of quiet. You can see they're scared around this dude. And he was known for carrying a Chrome 380 automatic. It's, if you don't know what 380 is, it's like a 9mm. It's just a little bit smaller. But it's a compact gun, so you can just put it in your pocket or whatever. He would keep it in his waistband. But anyway, so he started hanging there, And then one day we get a call from a woman that says this guy, his gang name was Throwdown. And so Throwdown just opened her door. She unfortunately didn't lock it. And he just walked into her apartment. And he wouldn't leave. He was high as shit on something, and he wouldn't leave. So we get over there. I'm already ready. I unclipped my pepper spray. I used to have a big canister of pepper spray that shot 15 feet, and it was a wide burst. And I worked with several guys there that were ex-Marines. Another guy was from Panama. He was ex-Army in Panama. Everyone called him Rambo because he used to wear, he'd have a shotgun and he'd wear the bandolier with all the shotgun shells. So they call him Rambo. Oh, sorry. And so we approach, and he's leaving the apartment as soon as we get there. So we stop him, and as soon as he stopped, I pulled my pepper spray out completely, and I had it by my side. And we stopped him to, ID him, as, question him. And as soon as we did that, he tried to, make a move to swing at me, and I just blasted him right in the face. Now, this is in a little corridor. So the problem with that was we got ourselves a little bit as well. But I blasted him good, right in the face. So I put it down. I was going to try and give chase, but the purpose would kind of mess me up a little bit too. So we ran after him. We saw him go to, there was a 3-story building. There's 2 3-story buildings there. And so he ran in there. We weren't sure where he was. The police show up because the lady had called the police. So now we're with the police. We're going through, and then one lady says he went into this one apartment. So we go over there, knock on the door, and he's in there. He's soaking wet because he was putting water on his eyes. And so then as he comes out, the police are just too, like, well, whatever, who cares? Back then it was Compton PD, and they were so bad that the sheriffs had to take over. So he just, boom, he bolts and takes off. And I start to go after him, and I hear the cops tell me, no, it's a freaking criminal. What do you mean, no? So I give chase. The other 3 guys I was with, they give chase. And we're not too far behind him, but he's moving fast enough to get away. And now at that time, I'm a big guy. I'm like close to 300 pounds, but I was young, so I could still move really good. So in the corner of this projects, the wrought iron fence, they had barbed wire all the way around it, or razor wire. At the corner of it, the razor wire had been cut. And they didn't bother even fixing it because they'd fix it and within hours it's cut again. So they just leave it. So he heads right toward it, and we're about maybe 10 yards behind him. And just as he jumps over, before he starts running down the street, he pulls his gun and fires 6 shots at us. I yell at my guys, hold your fire, because he's on the street. He's running. You'd hit him in the back. Plus there's cars coming, so nobody fired. So we reported that to the police, and then they put a warrant out for his arrest for assault with a deadly weapon with a firearm, 4 counts. And then he didn't come by for a while. We didn't see him or hear that he was around for a long time. Then we started hearing that he's sneaking in late, and he's kind of hiding a little bit. And then one day I am off, the guard shack was right up front, and then just a little bit off to the guard shack, were just between the driveway and the, where people park the car, in between 2 buildings. I was talking to a lady, a black lady, and as we're talking, I had this thing back then where I had, um, I don't even know if there's a word for it, but I was kind of like in a combat zone, like mentally, like, and so a split second before there was any gunfire in my direction, I could feel it, like in my core. I just there was this feeling, weird feeling, and so I felt that, and as soon as I felt that, then boom, 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 it was him, and he was across the way, and he fired 6 shots again. And this time, this was weird because she got out of the way quick, but I remember moving so fast, and I don't remember actually reaching and pulling my gun. I just remember a millisecond later, I'm already boom at the ready, and I actually stopped for a second and went, "Shit, that was fast," because it was lightning fast. And so then I start to move, and I see my guy Duran, and he's laying by his car doors open, and he's kind of on his side. So I yell out, "Duran!" He doesn't move. So I'm like, damn. So I move to a tree. I'm looking for the guy. He's gone. Duran! Nothing. He's not moving. He's not calling out. So I'm like, oh my God, he's got shot. So I run over to him, grab him by the shoulder, turn him over. He's fine. He was petrified. He turns over and is, oh. He was like that. He was petrified because the gunfire was so close. I was like, oh, come on, man. So then we go looking for him. We can't see him. He ducked into an apartment. So after that, again, we go through a period of a good little, I don't know, a couple months maybe. We don't see him or hear him that he's around. Then one day, it's been a slow night. It was during the week. Some of my guys, I don't have a lot of guys that night. And some of them, it's like 2:30 in the morning. Some of them are sleeping because it's so slow. And I don't mind as long as 2 or 3 of us are up and at the ready, you know. So then I just tell the guy, yeah, I'm gonna go just do a quick round. That way I keep fresh. I don't fall asleep, you know. So I'm walking, and then I hear from the park some voices, a man's voice, a couple of women. You know, whatever. I don't really pay too much attention. But from that side, on the park side, they also had a section where the barbed wire was cut, and people would come in and out from there. So from the fence line, then there's a building, and then I was on the other side of the building. And as I was walking, then suddenly, boom, there he is, throw down, and there's a girl standing right next to him. Kind of a big girl, she's bigger than him. As soon as he sees me, he lifts up his shirt, and he grabs his 380, and bam, I blast him 3 times in the chest, boom, boom. But he doesn't go down because he's high on Sherm. So he just backs off and then grabs his gun, and as he's starting to run, and he starts to point it at me, I fire 4 more times. But I ended up hitting the girl in the leg. It was minor. It was just like in the corner and kind of through, not a big deal. But still, he goes down, and there's a big. People come out of the woodwork and they're surrounding me, cussing me, telling me I'll kill you, this and that. They get crazy. You can get a riot in those situations, and the police take forever to come there. Backup takes forever to come there. Finally, they show up, and the procedure is just like with the police. They take my firearm that I used. I go to sit down with the detective for after shooting, and it's fine. Everything ends up working out. And then after that, instead of getting shot at on a regular basis and getting messed with, nothing. Quiet. When I was there, quiet. All the gunfire stopped. And even them hanging out and being real loud, that calmed down. And if they were hanging out and I walked over by myself, they would all look at me and then scurry away like cockroaches and go inside. They were scared of me. That's why I was saying I was Wyatt Earp. I mean, you're talking about 60 guys. I mean, between the two places, they would go back and forth. So dozens, for sure, every time, armed, sometimes heavily. Anytime they want, they can open fire. I'm by myself. There's 10, 15, 20 of them. They see me coming, ooh, they're scared. They go away. And that's how it was after that. I worked 6 days a week, and after that, never a shot fired. But on my day off, they would light up the guard. They would shoot at them all the time. On my day off, when I was there, nothing. They were scared to death of me, and they were so. And instead of, being tough gangsters and coming and trying to get me, which at the time I was a little cuckoo, and I wanted them to try it. They didn't. Instead, they actually went around and tried to have people sign a petition to get rid of me. Big bad gangsters, Compton Crips. And they were so scared of me, they wouldn't come at me with firearms or anything. So, and I actually got bored and left because I was bored, because there was no excitement anymore. So anyway, that's why I started out the statement with, I was Wyatt Earp. Because in a sense, like Wyatt Earp when he was in Deadwood, that's where he got his reputation. He was sheriff. And so he had some physical altercations with people, and then he had a shooting where he shot some people, and I think one guy died. And after that, just his reputation alone, that was enough. If Wyatt Earp was coming, everyone would just calm down, walk away. No one gave him any problems after that. All was quiet. So it was the same thing. So for a little while, I was Wyatt Earp. Thank you.